Hello again, this is Matt Vozella from the Bryant University Audiovisual Office, here to show you how to use Audacity. I'm going to try and make this relatively quick. I'm just going to go over the basic functions, and then maybe later on we'll do another couple of tutorials for some advanced functions. So first thing you want to do is download Audacity. You can see it right down here. I already have preloaded it on my computer. When you download this, it is a free program, but you want to be sure that you do it from soundforge.net. There's a bunch of imposters out there. You can get some viruses, you can get some bad stuff, so always make sure that when you're doing your download, do it from soundforge.net. You're probably also going to want to get a plugin for it called Lame, L-A-M-E. I would have chosen a better name, but that's the name they chose. You also want to get that from soundforge.net. What Lame does is it lets you convert your Audacity file into an MP3 that you can then embed or do whatever you want with it. So let's get to it. I already have Audacity opened, so I'll click it, and it'll open up right here. So I'm just going to run a brief overview of the controls and a couple of things you need to look at. So let's look up in the upper left here. Here's where all your what are called your transport controls are. The ones you really need to worry about is this stop button and this record button. Then you have your toolbox right here with all your little functions. You have meters to see how well your input is. You can then adjust the overall volume or the volume input of your microphone right here. And then the other place you want to check is these two boxes right here. One is the speakers, that's obviously where it's outputting to, but the other one is right here. So in this case, if you look, I have a little drop down menu here. There's several options. I'm using a USB microphone, so I want to be sure that I have that selected. If you don't have the proper input selected, you're just not going to get sound. So go ahead and select that. And then in order to start, all you do is you click this record button. As soon as you click the record button, you'll see that the levels up here begin to bounce. And you can see in real time with a small bit of delay that your voice kind of records along. Then we hit stop, and then you can go ahead and play it back. So let's go play it back just to hear it. As soon as you click the record button, you'll see that the levels up here begin to bounce, and you can see. So that's your basic recording. As you can see, this is a stereo track. It's got left and right. That is selected up here right next to your microphone selection. I would always generally go with stereo. But if you have a special need and you want just a single channel, you can go ahead and choose mono. Then every time you begin recording, it's going to make another track. So if I hit record again, as soon as you click the record button, you'll be able to hear the levels up. So you can hear what's already been recorded, and then as you can see, it's made a second track. So that's kind of the way you would record several tracks. Every time you click record, it's going to make a new track, and it's always going to start at the beginning of the presentation. So an easy way to deal with this is, say you don't want to hear the presentation, you can simply mute, and then when you record again, and you'll be able to. So let's go ahead and mute this one and the one I just made, and record again. Okay, so now as you can see, there is sound here, but it's muted, so you can't hear it. So we're going to stop, and then we can come back and we can unmute them all. And well, because of the way we've set it up, it's going to sound really garbled and kind of messy. But let's record again. Okay, so now as you'll be able to see sound here. Wow. All right. And then if you say wanted to delete a specific track, not a section, but an entire track, all you have to do is come here to this X, click on the X, and it will delete the tracks. Lastly, I'm going to show you how to delete just a specific area of the track. So what we're going to do is, if we look here in the center, there's this kind of period of silence in the middle. Let's just say I wanted to get rid of that. All we do is come up here to our toolbox, select this selection tool. You then highlight the area you want to remove. Come here, and you can cut it out. You obviously have undo and redo. Very handy, so let's undo that. Now if we notice in these boxes along the lines here, we have several different options. We have what's called trim and silence. So trim is going to trim everything but what you've highlighted. All right? And silence is going to do the exact opposite. It's going to leave the same amount of time you have highlighted, but it's going to silent everything in that area. So that's just a couple of quick tips on how to use Audacity. If for some reason you need to get kind of more fine-tuned, you really need to zoom in, you can come over here and you can really get right down to it. I mean, we can see like these are individual syllables that we're looking at now, and you can also zoom back out so that you can view your entire process. Lastly, to export into MP3, as I said, you will have to get the Lame plugin for it and configure it. That's all found. You can come right to this help area. It has a whole bunch of helpful tips. It has quick help. It has about Audacity. It has an in-browser manual with user-related troubleshooting, stuff like that. But what we're going to do is we're just going to make an MP3. So all I do is I come here to File, choose Export, choose where I want to export it to. In this case, I'm just going to export it right to my desktop. And then you want to come down here to where it says Save Type As, and there'll be a drop-down menu. You just choose MP3, click Save. Oops, I got to give it a title. We'll just call it Test. Click Save. You can then fill in some metadata value if for some reason you wanted to. Say you're going to put this up as a podcast and you want iTunes to reflect some of that data, whether it's the artist name, the track number, what have you. You can input that. I'm not going to, so I'm just going to click on through. There we go. This is a very short clip, so it didn't take very long at all. If we minimize, you can now see I have my test MP3. So if I double click it, as soon as you click the record button, so it's just that easy to use Audacity. This is just a start. Hopefully we'll follow up with more tutorials for trimming, fading, and doing some of the more advanced stuff. Hope this helped. If you have any questions about Audacity or any other piece of audiovisual gear, please feel free to call us at the audiovisual office at extension 6128 or stop by. We're located in the unit structure in room 277. Thank you.